Hey guys, how are you? This is Ishai Breslauer, your host of the CRE SharkEye Show. Hope you guys are doing great today. We have a very special guest today who claims that he has the most sophisticated, amazing underwriting system for commercial real estate. And I can't wait to hear all about it. Anton Zajac, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for having me. I actually
So now, before we start, sorry I'm stopping you. Before we even start, give us like a 2-minute elevator pitch about what your business is about. When we start digging into your story, and we get it from there. How about that?
Okay. So,
awesome.
so IntellCRE helps all real estate professionals achieve significantly higher efficiency of deal flow. It allows them to save tons of time and money. And we do this by automating real estate investment analysis, underwriting, and by streamlining investment and marketing processes. While I was building a multifamily fund in San Diego, very early on, I discovered I wasn't able to keep pace with all the investment opportunities. This is because detailed analysis or underwriting of each deal requires hours, even days. If you count in market research and all that expensive fee to get CRE data, while I had to underwrite 30 or 40 off-market deals every day. So I was faced with two possibilities. Either I hire a large army of analysts, or we somehow managed to automate the process, right? But what was happening was that we're losing deals because we're offering too late or because we're offering too low. If your offer is the 20th on the table, it's game over, right? And if your offer is too low, sellers get offended and they don't even talk to you, so it's game over again. And so basically, while working with the largest commercial brokers in San Diego area, they started lamenting that they had a similar problem. It would take them 6 weeks, and it would cost them thousands of dollars just to bring a new deal to the market. And this is because the whole process of getting the property data, processing it in Excel, manually, doing manually, market research and all of that, and then creating a marketing package and all of that, just takes 6 weeks on average. So it's extremely inefficient process. Limiting, the market timing for sellers. Limiting the ability of investors to act on deals as they, get originated. And so the solution that IntellCRE provides is actually built on a patented AI technology that's capable of underwriting in seconds versus hours or days. It's capable of bringing a new deal to the market in under 5 minutes, given that you have some photos of the property. So, all of this just combined really is something that we believe is going to be standard. It's going to be the future of how
it's going to be the future, without a doubt. It's going to be the future. And a lot of people talk about it. And AI, we're going to talk about AI. It's like the topic of today with ChatGPT and everything else. But yes. We're gonna dig into it. Don't worry about it. You know what? Before we go into digging into this business, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got into this whole thing? I saw that you have a background. It goes all the way to London. It goes to commercial real estate in general. Like you said, you had a fund, multifamily fund. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this business.
Right. So I used to be a researcher in London at Imperial College London. I hold 2 PhDs. I used to research string theory. So meeting with people like Stephen Hawking, Peter Higgs, almost on a monthly basis. I published many papers, but the problem I had was, in order to further pursue this research career, was that every time I was in a room with people that were doing some reasonable business or researching cure for cancer, people would always flock towards these other people because they could relate more to kind of the application of what these people were doing. Whereas in my case, I was like, well, we're going to run out of resources on this planet. One day we're going to have to colonize the universe, and we're going to need to leverage our knowledge about, black holes, wormholes, and all of that. And they were like, right. So, this was kind of annoying and discouraging. But I think I did my part, extending the boundary of humankind knowledge in string theory, which I still believe is one of the most beautiful, scientific disciplines out there. but I was looking for a problem that I could solve that's out there today, that's, global. And if I come up with the right solution, using tech, using, machine learning or AI, that this solution can be scalable and applied today. So I get to see the fruits of my work in my lifetime, So
that's amazing. Tell me something.
So,
sorry, I'm stopping you for a second. I just want to back up for a second because you threw just now, meaning your background is so impressive. I just want to really get it. And I'm sure everybody who's listening is very, very curious. You said 2 PhDs, man. What PhDs do you have? What are the two PhDs?
I have one in string theory that I got at Imperial College London, and then another one in mathematical physics in Vienna.
All right, we got a mini rocket scientist here, almost like so a physicist. It's amazing. So it's incredible, and usually people who go to science, they don't go to business many times because they are very realistic in terms of meaning they're interested in science. They're not interested in actually the making money side of things. And I think your personality is very unique. Also, you have the look of a business guy and a background of a physicist. Tell us a little bit about the personal, move from being a scientist to being a business guy. We're gonna dig into the details in a second, but give us that personal aspect. I'll love to hear about it.
Well, I'm no sort of book example of a physicist, wearing glasses and just going around, being very shy. That's how they portray, scientists in TV, anyways.
That's right.
But it sort of runs in the family because my father is also a theoretical physicist, and he roughly around my age, he actually went into business and he built the most successful cybersecurity software company in the world. ESET.
Amazing. How old are you now, by the way?
I'm 30.
Wow, young. Okay, amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
And so he built the company called ESET. They now have headquarters. North American headquarters is in San Diego. They have a whole building with their logo. And my brother was he's 8 years older than I am, and he started with bio. It was like combination of physics, medicine, and engineering. So he's also a physicist, we can say. And he also went, the entrepreneurship route, and now he built a company. There are around 200 employees, and what they do, they're called Surgilogs, and what they do is they digitize the back offices of hospitals in the U.S. So I guess it's kind of runs in the family. Starting with science, and then applying that, that abstract thinking, because that's what theoretical physics is about. You look at a problem, you have a problem, and you think very analytically about what the solution can be, and and about the edge cases and things like that. And I think that is the thing that we all got from the studies and from the research that we used to do, and trying to apply that in in the business world, I guess.
I think that's an incredible story. I think that's very, very exciting. I want to dig into your, to your software now. I want to get into this story. You said meaning you were very passionate about the fact that you had, I don't know if you were alone, you were partners, but you had a fund that got into multifamily, and you said that underwriting, and I know it personally also because I ran a company myself, so I know what it takes to basically underwrite so many deals. Sometimes you need a team, and the more deals you need to underwrite, you need a bigger team. And to streamline that aspect of underwriting is not a simple thing, because we all know what comes into the underwriting, and there's a lot of outside details in real estate, a lot of outside data that comes in, and then it comes down into the spreadsheet and becomes numbers. And that is very, very difficult. Can you please tell us how you thought to take all that data that we usually go and put into, the Excel or whatever we use, in order to get the right underwriting, and you took it from outside in order to put it in a program that would do the AI for it. Meaning, what was the thought process? How it's done? Meaning, what was the scientific process in order to get it done? We're going to talk later about what the solution is and how good it is. But first, the processing of how taking it from from the out there into put it in the the system.
Yeah, well, I don't want to diminish the neither the ideas nor the technology behind it. But if you think about it, at least to me, it was very, very trivial, because the process of underwriting is just, if you think about it on an abstract level, there are just some inputs and some data that enters the, I would say, system of equations, and what comes out is a very definite answer to maybe an investor's question. Should I invest into this deal right now? How much should I invest? And what enters the equation is what the market is doing. Is how much money you have to spend on that deal. Is what sort of other basic investment criteria you have. But what also enters the equation is what are loan policies like now, right? Would I get this kind of loan? What are insurance policies like right now? It's not so important, but knowing precisely.
Right, it's there. Yes.
Also, making everything more accurate. And also, what comes into the equation, which has been ignored until now, I guess largely, is what would make sense if the offer was for sellers, for those who are trying to sell that property. And obviously, what makes sense for investors in terms of all the returns. And if you start examining this and going deeper and deeper, you're gonna arrive at the algorithm yourself. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. So the first thing I did, obviously, because the concept of doing this is so straightforward, is we checked with our patent lawyer whether there was a patent on this, and whether it was patentable, because you got, before you start building, a team spending, a lot of money into, developing this, you better make sure that you have some sort of protection. So we found out that it is patentable, because there were times when software was not patentable, and then, now we're in the lucky times for us that it is. And B, that there wasn't any patent, related to this. And so we filed for the patent as the first thing, start building the team, and start building the technology. And really, I don't know how deep you want to go into what the technology does, but you have some income data associated with the property, which can come in various forms. Maybe some spreadsheets, maybe some PDFs, maybe just they're written down as notes. Broker, just got off the call and they wrote down this data, and then there's data about the expenses or operating expenses associated with the building, and this can actually, we're already automatically estimating these, so you don't need those in order to run a property through our system, which is quite nice. And then obviously there's what the market is doing. So you got to look at the comps, and you got to come up with algorithms that take the relevant comps and do a transformation on your price, on your market rents, in order to reflect what the comps are doing, right? Because they are pretty, they're a big lamppost in the whole, process. And so I don't know if I've answered your question, or I was trying to sort of. It
does. Let me just 1 second focus on one thing, because I have a bunch of things to talk about here, and I want to hear your take on it. You said comps, for example. Let's focus on comps. For example, meaning obviously when you talk about the data that comes from the property, the AI obviously knows, I would say the mainstream percentage of every single aspect of what property needs to have, meaning from management to whatever it is, to whatever type of expenses they should have, and the ratios, etc. I get it, meaning the technology knows that. When it comes to comps needs to be retrieved from outside information. So do you have your software connected to the outside sources Meaning,
Yes,
how
we
did
do.
you do? How did you do that? Meaning, what do you do in order to
we
get
do.
that
Yeah.
and to get it so accurately?
Yes, we do.
Not a
But
simple, not a simple task. Go ahead.
yeah, we do, but with actually many sources. But without that, it would be impossible to offer comps within our platform, right? But
Right.
get this: imagine you have an expert in a certain market analyzing a deal, and there are some comps, and they have their own comps because maybe there hasn't been so many transactions recently, or something like that, and they can upload their own comps that they see best fit the deal, right? Based on their assembly, the system can actually look at the other comps and figure out which one are the best fitting, So it's just a quick example. But yeah, I mean, you do need outside sources. And I mean, you can have internal data, proprietary data as well. What we don't do is we do not share we don't share data that's generated because of some organization has provided their own comps with another organization, because that would not be fair, and nobody would want that. So there's a firewall that prevents that from happening.
I got it. I want to ask you something. You said algorithm, and algorithm basically studies, meaning what the market is, and also the behavior of whoever does the underwriting or whatever the underwriter wants to retrieve from that program. Okay. When you do it yourself, you do it yourself. You have your own preference. So my question is the following. You have investors or investment groups or operators, whatever it is, that are coming in, into acquisitions, and they have different priorities. One is going for a very, core type of deals. One is core plus, one is value add, one is completely, aggressive, one is not. The algorithm and the criterias are different, meaning I'm willing to go crazy in terms of the cap, in terms of where the property is, in terms of what the revenues are. I'm willing to go 60 or 50 or 30% occupancy. And some other guy wants the 98% occupancy with some game of a value add that is very tiny, maybe even not. How does your algorithm deal with that? Is it meaning through with the many times that you do the underwriting, or as you start using the software, it adjusts according to your demands? How does it?
It's a good question. The algorithm should actually learn what your strategy is like. So it would be different for every user or organization, right?
Right.
I mean, fast forwarding a little bit, what I would want this system to do for me is I want to spend zero time on investment, on evaluating deals, underwriting deals, sourcing deals. I want to spend zero time. What I want this system to do is I wake up in the morning, it knows my preferences because of maybe 5 deals that I've analyzed, or 5 deals that I, either when I like this or I don't like this. And I want, in the morning, while sipping my morning coffee, I want the system to tell me in the last 8 hours, you've received 25 deals, 5 on market, 20 off market. Based on your basic investment criteria, be it geography, deal size, whether it's a value add or it's a turnkey or something like that, we've eliminated, 15. So you're left with, 10. Out of these 10, 2 match your or exceed your target metrics, right? So they are a go. You should offer on these 2. But from these 2, this one is going to perform the most. This is how much you should offer in order to stay competitive with the offer, but at the same time, making sure that you're still hitting, not just hitting, but exceeding your targets. Do you want me to automatically offer for you? And, while sipping the coffee, just go, yes, do that, and that's it. That's how much interaction I can afford right now with my bandwidth and my time budget. But so yeah, but it should be personalized based on my strategy.
Preferences. Yeah.
Yes. So maybe I'm taking risks. Maybe I'm very conservative. It should take that into account.
So I want to ask you this. Usually when it comes to underwriting, when you get a deal, when you go, whoever does acquisitions know it very well. You have few phases in the underwriting, right? The first phase is you just have millions of deals being thrown to you, which you actually talked about in the beginning. And you just want to see which one is relevant, which one is not, and start moving them across. And then you found something that is relevant. Then you do the preliminary underwriting, which is just checking if it's really something you could work with. And then you move, let's say, out of the few, you have only very, very few of those. And then comes down to one, which you're going to start checking. My question is the following. The machine seems to me that the machine would be very helpful on all those preliminary levels. Well, once it gets to the level where you said, this is my deal, I want now to dig into the underwriting and the due diligence, then it goes to the human hand, which is the legals, and then the real underwriting, which is basically taking the general numbers that we're taking out of. You actually want to take the real numbers and to check that these numbers are actually real. Where is the point where the machine moves to human? Is there any point to that?
Well, the machine cannot walk the property, can it?
Of course not.
So before I would buy a deal, I would want to, either personally or have somebody just walk around it, So
not only walk, it's taking the real data, because sometimes the data that you got is not, like, for example, I'll give you an example. Sorry, I'm interrupting. You got the data that the leases are X, right? The leases are X. But then when you get the contracts, different story, provisions, this, that, all of a sudden the numbers change a little bit, and all of a sudden your pro forma completely changes. So the question is, at that point, for example, walking the property is obvious. I'm saying that even point where you see all these contracts and you're going one by one, and then you put the real numbers into the boxes, right? Into the slot. Yeah. That's my question.
I might have an answer for you in terms of an example. We acquired a 8-unit property 2 years ago, and everything looked good. Nice value add property in one of the neighborhoods of San Diego, and we went into escrow. So we got to check and see all the statements and all the due diligence documents. And so I skimmed through them. I didn't see anything off. So we did some basing inspections, inspected the roof and things like that. And nothing was showing, nothing serious or suspicious was showing up. So we moved forward. We went with the acquisition. And then the first water bill came in. This was 2 months after we acquired the property, and it was 45% higher than my Excel was telling me it should be. Right. All right. So right then and there, I was like, hey, this doesn't match. And I was lucky because I happened to know the owner of the property right next door, and it's almost identical, this other property. And so we sat down, grabbed coffee, compared bills, and really ours was 40+% higher than this other person's. And so that's when I actually called and scheduled a very, very detailed inspection of the foundations of the slab and whatnot, just to discover that we had a major slab leak, and part of the foundation was actually damaged. So we're looking at $45 grand project on top of our budget and everything. And I was like, all right, this can never happen to us ever again, and nor this should happen to other investors. So part of what the system is capable of doing is, if you upload a trailing statement or profit and loss statement, it can actually go line by line, checking every expense against some sort of average for that unit size, that square footage in that zip code. And when it sees an anomaly like this, which I didn't catch at the time, like water bill being, maybe 25% higher than it should be, it gives you a red flag,
That's
saying
amazing.
you might have a slab leak there, so you better do a proper inspection of your slab and things like that. So
Love that.
I think in the long run, it's going to catch way more things that people are capable of catching because, just
right. I think this is great.
We're not machines.
Right. We're limited. Let me ask you this before we shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about something else. How many properties to date your system checked, give or take, that you could say that, like with confidence that it works really well, or you're not there yet?
Probably 2,000.
Wow. And how do you feel?
It's not a lot, but I
right.
mean,
it's not no, but for a start,
it's not like we've been around for a long time.
How long are you? How long do you guys exist?
Actually, something over a year.
That's nice. Tell me something. Shifting gears a little bit. It's a startup. Where are you in terms of the rounds, in terms of the raising, in terms of where you guys are going into market?
We're closing our seed, or I should say pre-seed round.
Yeah.
Actually, the ecosystem, startup ecosystem, is actually facing the most challenging times.
Yes.
For the past 15 years. But still, we managed to almost committed the full round. So we're basically in the home stretch for closing the round. We've had 2 rounds before. One was friends and family. The other was led by an angel investor. And now we're raising some money that should that should really unveil our potential in the coming months.
Now let me ask you this. Sounds very exciting, but this is not a new thing. There are other AI, underwriting systems that are out there. You have a patent, which and I don't understand deeply enough what the patent means, but I'm sure you have it. But there are other AI underwriting systems that are out there. What is the difference between you guys and those that are out there that are pretty successful and actually raised hundreds of millions?
Yeah, well, there's actually one way to answer this, sort of mimiccing Elon Musk when he was asked, what about the other electric cars? And he was like, well, look at them, look at the interface. I could say, look at the interface of the other apps that are out there. Another thing is I personally tried, I really tried everything that's out there, and it creates more work for you than actual benefit, because they claim that they do something automatically, but in reality they don't. Some claim that they're gonna get all the data, just put in the address, get all the data. I don't want to, say names, but and then you find out that they just scraped some ad out there, which was for 1 unit in this 100-unit apartment building, and they take the value of that unit as the value of the entire building and things like that. So it's just a lot of attempts, and I guess I understand it because the market is there. The time is right. It's just unthinkable. It's downright alarming that one of the biggest industries in the world, which is CRE, 50% of humankind wealth is in this industry. It's in commercial real estate, right? If people ask me, where can I see humankind wealth? What? Take a stroll down Fifth Avenue, look around. And it's not just New York. It's every major city in the world. That's where the money is. That's where the money sits. And that's where the money works. But where's the technology? I mean, we're technologically, we're decades, we're decades.
Yeah, but it's slowly getting there. We're getting better. I want to ask you the following: when it comes to meaning your software being sold or being used by other companies, you already have clients, you already have buyers.
Yes,
you have buyers, and what is the response? What type of, for example, what type of fee you take a fee? They take a user, like what is it? Subscription?
It's a subscription-based model. It's the professional license is $99 per month per user. Yeah, so that's the price point. We do customizations as well of the platform. So we do have a client in Europe. Actually, they have their own data, and they're very secure about their data. So we had to do some extra work in order to have them have their data and really in a secure place. And they just wanted to use the platform slightly differently. I mean, they wanted to. They are in CRE, and they wanted to underwrite and keep track of their portfolio and keep track of what their portfolio was doing. So we did that customization for them, and then it's almost on a deal-to-deal basis what the charge would be, right? If they would have 10 users, we wouldn't do it. But if they have 100,
of course, the more users you have, the more you. Right, the more room to play with it you have. Obviously, it's obvious.
So we have, just to finish this off,
sure.
To finish off the answer. So the professional plan is $99 per month per seat, but we are actually adding sort of like a smaller plan for mom and pops investors, because we understand that for some this charge is non-trivial. You have to pay $100. So but then obviously the data cannot be as as diverse as
sophisticated, as deep.
Data is expensive, engineering is expensive, so there's there's
how many people you have work for you guys?
We're around 20 right now.
Wow, nice. And where are you based?
So part of the team is based in near Vienna, in the capital of Slovakia, Bratislava. I don't know if you've ever been. Beautiful city. Anyways,
nice.
And then part of the team is based in San Diego, and then we do have some external people that are some are in Spain, some are in the UK. So
nice spread, beautiful idea, and you know what? I can't wait to actually get the chance to use it. I think it's really incredible. Tell us, tell everybody how they can find you guys. LinkedIn, you have a website, you have, how can they find you? Tell everyone.
Well, we're soon to be launching version 1 of the product. Is what I should really say, because we started with an MVP. We've been showing that to various user segments, various people, investors, brokers, and really trying to figure out where to spend our time and money in terms of developing new features and improving functionality. So we've been taking steps towards beta version, which is fully functional and is out there. And now it's actually a challenge to merge because there's a lot of experimental versions of this platform, and merging bits and pieces of this code that's already there to the existing demo version, which is actually available at our website. It's free to use, actually. Well, the trial, anyways, is actually a challenge to do it in such a smooth way that nothing, crashes. But there's a lot going on. So, we're updating. I mean, the algorithms are updated on an hourly basis, and the platform itself, I should say, there's a new version, bi-daily. So a lot of it is going on. But I mean, our website, IntellCRE.com, is where one can find a presentation of some of the features. It's really hard to keep this up to date. Also, there's some demo video, but again, it's just a nightmare to keep everything up to date with the development because we're going so fast,
Right.
But yeah, that would be a good place to start. Book a demo or just contacting us, or just having a play with the interface that's available with the demo version, or with the beta version, I should say, and just staying tuned, because some major launches or releases are going to be made in the nearby future. So
amazing. Amazing. And
Yeah.
you guys can see the links above or below, and you can contact Anton and actually get to use this amazing system as it sounds. It sounds like the future. And Anton, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. Take care. You guys, you stick around, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode and you learned a lot about it, and you get a new system to use now for underwriting. I'll see you in the next